that have been killed by police terrorism. Most recently, our brothers Philando Castile and Alden Sterling were slaughtered like animals before our very eyes via cell phone recording. Now, what we find is that this becomes such a painful part of our lives that we all know exactly how this will turn out. First, we're going to see the court of public opinion drag the victim's name through the dirt, making them responsible for their own murders. Soon after that, we're going to see the officer get praised, held up as an exemplary person in his community, made to show everybody else what good police work is. And possibly we will receive thousands upon millions of dollars in donations from it. Then, there will be an investigation into the matter to simply make us black people shut up and stop complaining about it. Of course, like in the case of Aiyana Jones, a 7-year-old black girl that was murdered by Joseph Weekley, an officer in Detroit, there will be no charges that stick to the officer. He'll go back to his community, safe, be able to earn his income again, and have all of the donations and benefits that he had occurred from simply killing another black person. It's the reality of it. It's a sad reality, but we must live it. Now, I want us all to think about something as well. I want us to think about the 1950s and 60s, a time period that was not really too long ago. It's our grandparents' generation, in which a white cop could come into the black community, could rape black women, could beat the living shit out of black men, and could murder black people with impunity, have no charges whatsoever filed against them. Now, of course, when black people would try to practice their constitutional rights, they try to go out and vote, use the 15th Amendment, etc., they'd be hung for doing so. They'd be made into a public spectacle for every other black person to see, while we don't deserve any rights and any hope. What we see today is the same exact thing occurring all over again. We see a woman lose her life by practicing her First Amendment rights of free speech, getting smart with an officer. She winds up dead in a prison. Before that, she's slammed to the ground viciously. What we see is a man that wants to practice the Second Amendment right to bear arms, murdered for trying to grab his gun permit to show the officer that he was not threatening at all, in front of his girlfriend and in front of his 4-year-old daughter. What we see is a group of young men that want their Fourth Amendment right to deny unreasonable searches and seizures upheld by telling officers that they refuse the stop and frisk policy. How did the officers respond, you ask? They pull guns out on the men, tell them all to get out the car and search it anyway. Then they send them all to prison with trumped up charges. This is the time period that we live in, unfortunately. And I want you all to once again be reminded of that time period that they lived in the 1950s and 60s, in which these same exact things were occurring. But they decided to stand up. They decided to fight back. And they got us to the point that we are at today. By them standing up, they were able to get rid of the black codes in the South, which effectually kept us away from using our 15th Amendment right to vote. By them standing up, they were effectually able to get rid of legal segregation, so that we don't have to live in certain neighborhoods, be subjected to subpar schooling. By them standing up, they were able to create the Black Power movement through Stokely Carmichael and Dr. Martin Luther King that led us into the White House. Now I understand that we think that things are a little bit better nowadays, that we like to live and have fun and go out to the club and party and things like that. But I want you all to recognize this is the new civil rights era. So what you do or do not do will determine the course of history. If we do nothing at all, what we'll see is that America will have one of the worst forms of racism that has ever had on this land. But if we stand up, we fight for justice and equality, we'll see change. Change that we want, change that our grandparents wanted, and the change that we deserve to have equal rights in this country. It's only through us standing up today that we'll be able to stop another one of our brothers and sisters from becoming a hashtag tomorrow. Thank you all for coming out.